Awesome stories, guys. This is pretty good. So we're gonna have some time for questions, and I'll just wait. Yeah.
First question is for Steve, which is what awesome HR culture matching application do you use? And the second question is for the entire panel. Have you seen Mr. Robot?
Alright, first question, because I'm a sucker for cheap advertising for other people. Yes, I use Forte. Well done, Bowden, for your like 18th pitch of the night. You're well below average though, so step up your game. I have seen Mr. Robot. I find it very interesting. I would consider myself a fan of the show. I watch more TV than anybody.
Stay out of that server room, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Any other questions?
Is there anything special that any of you do or have done recently, especially to protect your job when these things happen? And someone now you can go through it and then start questioning you as to what you did for all of these incidents. Because to me, I'm not in fact technology or contact. But I find it quite fascinating as you talk with journalists. Well, bullshit. But she was talking about the social implications of big data and all this type of stuff. You look at the gritty reality of the day-to-day jobs, when an incident happens, you guys are all in the front lines. Of course, you know what's going to happen. You're going to be blamed. You didn't do your job. You didn't do a job well enough. You didn't go to the course. You didn't go to the training. Whatever they say, is there anything in particular that you can tell the people here, most of them saw a text, what they can or should do specifically when that happens?
Yeah, I think, sorry to say tonight again, but a big part of this, if you're already in a bad organization, there's a lot that you can do to protect yourself. Basically, keep records, have conversations with people, try and implement some kind of an incident tracking system. Like Big Drops, for example, is a great one that will hook into all your systems and just basically give you a timeline of when things happen, and so that you can sort of put together a post-mortem automatically. But if you're not in a blameless culture, if you're not in, and this is where I would have plugged Forte anyways, Bowden, but if your culture is less than perfect, you do have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for your coworkers and sort of make sure that you're communicating and collaborating as much as possible. Because if nobody knows what you're doing but you, that's how people get blamed, right? If you're not sharing enough information, that's when there's misunderstandings that happen. That's when people make assumptions about you being neglectful and not doing your job. But if you're open and honest about what you're doing and the challenges that you're facing and the gaps and the weak points that you see, I think if it's all on the table, then it's a lot easier to deal with that situation when it comes up, because you're on record saying that this was a weak point that you brought up. But ideally we're all moving towards things like blameless culture and proper postmortems and proper incident management, and truly collaborative environments. So it happens less in the future. But if you're in an awful situation, there are companies out there that value things like blameless postmortems and blameless culture. So look for a company that values individual contributions and helps people get things done rather than assign a scapegoat.
And I'll add, like in my specific example, it also comes down to risk analysis and management. Essentially, we save by moving data centers $1 million in a year. Even if at the end of the day it was 400 grand or whatever number was out of the reports, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it to have done that move. And I think that the smaller the team gets, the more you have to analyze the risk of the things you're doing and at least document the things that you see as gaps. So like the geographic redundancies that no one in the history of any business wants to pay for, you document that risk. You just do your job by calling out those risks and listing what you can do to mitigate disaster. And if that's nothing, that's fine. But as Steve says, you know, blameless or blameful, at the end of the day, you know, you have to understand the risks of what you're doing and also try to understand how to get better. That's basically it. If you're not appreciated for doing those when shit hits the fan, just get out, just run.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing to that, and that is, if you do your record keeping well and you're trying your best, even if you don't live in a blameless culture, 110% honesty, just completely be honest. And the reason I say that is because there's a great book I read once by a guy named Peter Block. And I don't know if anybody's read Peter Block here, but he has a book called Flawless Consulting. And what he says is that if you're having a really bad meeting and you just address the elephant in the room and you say, look, why does this meeting suck? Like, why are we having a bad conversation right now? How can we get over this? People will generally respect you for being completely honest and not trying to pull the wool over their eyes more than if they think they're having the wool pulled over their eyes. So 110% honesty is super important with ops. You're only doing yourself a credit, you're only doing your reputation a credit by being honest about it.
I also think that at a personal level, don't try to do anything you have no idea how to do and tell people that you actually do. So just be honest again. You don't go out and try to write an iOS application just because you learned about Swift a day ago and go find a job doing iOS development. So it's just not how it works. So pretty much be honest to yourself.
Any other questions? All right, so final round of applause for our panelists. Thank you all. All right, so we've got drinks at the back. There's still a lot of stuff to go there, so enjoy the rest of the evening. And thank you all for coming out, and thanks for the panelists for sharing tonight. It was a blast, and I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. Okay.